So I'm watching 40 Days and 40 Nights, which is a show I enjoy. It's funny. It's crazy how people want to get in other people's business. But that's not what this video is about. uh, as you know, they have stopped minting pennies. And banks aren't giving businesses pennies anymore. So if you have a bunch of pennies laying around and you can get coin rollers, you can sell them to a business. They're interested in them. So, I said months ago, last year now, that Trump would usher in the digital money. So the credit union that I use no longer takes loose change over the counter. They make you use a coin machine that takes a percentage, so they're stealing from their members. And they said, the person I talked to said they don't service the coin machine, so they lose money. I'm like, well, that's your fucking decision, is what I'm thinking of myself. But there was a time when the coin machine was owned and serviced by the credit union, and members got to use it for free. So, everything is moving towards a digital thing. If you look around, you know, there are more ways to pay digitally than to pay cash. And if you pay cash, there's a chance you will get cheated on change depending on the business. What else? So how long do you think it will be? Do you think I was right in saying that Trump will usher in digital money? That will probably be gold backed if I had to guess, because they understand that what we've been doing for a long time doesn't work. So, and there's a reason. I see videos all over the place. Adam Schiff and then other ones, or not Adam, Peter Schiff and other ones. You know, because Nixon took us off the gold standard, and then they told Americans to turn in their gold and were paid $25 or $27 an ounce, whatever they were paying, and then turned around once they closed the window. And by the way, they made it illegal for you to own gold, and revalued gold at $50. So that's a playbook and a play that they're probably going to reuse. So, I don't know if it will get so bad that they will go door to door confiscating stuff, but you and I and everyone else knows there's ways to hide that shit so that they don't know where it is. They might think they can find it, but if it ain't there, they can't find it. So, if you look around, Tap to Pay came about because of COVID, I think, and now there's scams where people are stealing your money before you even know you've been robbed. Inserting a card somewhere can get you the same consequences because they can put in a reader that floats between your card chip and the machine and acts like the machine, but basically it's like a repeater for radio systems. I will tell you that if you're not walking around with an RFID wallet, as in your credit cards with those little chips on them inside that, then I would highly recommend you do that, because that protects you from certain kinds of abilities. There are people who can sit ubiquitously around with a little dish thing pointing it at people, and they can read the radio frequency off your cards, off those chips. And then when you punch in your PIN, they can catch that too, I think. I'm not sure. So they want it to go digital, which is another fucking beef I have with the Social Security Administration and the VA. They want to do digital, but those two agencies, Social Security for sure serves people 62 and older unless you're doing disability, which you might be younger, but you still might be to a point where you can't manipulate a computer anymore. So how do you deal with that? And then with the VA, at least in my particular circumstance, my dad's license expired. He wasn't driving anyway. Didn't see a need to get a state issued ID. His passport expired a couple decades ago. And then the only ID he had was a retired military ID. And the VA uses an ID and me system where the only two forms of ID they accept are ones that my dad didn't have. So, what do you do? So, I just, whole fucking thing's bullshit. So, anyway, I don't even know if I'm going to post this video. It's just over 6 minutes, but we're programmed, and they're using convenience to do it. It's convenient to have your groceries. You go on a grocery store website, click on what you want for a fee. They shop for you, they pick it up, and they deliver it. Amazon, pick out what you want, they deliver it. Car parts, especially if you have older cars, are getting to the point where it's rather than going to an auto parts store, because they have to order this shit anyway, and then you got to go back to the auto parts store to get it. You just order it online and it comes to your house. So I don't know if it's better. So anyway, we're being programmed, and they're using subterfuge with will make it easy for them, and then they will voluntarily do it. So you have to ask yourself, at what point do they start using a hammer and a stick instead of the carrot? So, information is knowledge and power. Live a little, prep a lot, share love. G Pepper out.